Welcome. Welcome into the space that is Calgary Unitarians. I'm the Reverend Samaya Oakley, and my pronouns are she, her, and hers. Last week, we participated in the Canadian Unitarian Council's National Worship Service on the Church of Our Imagination. So it's been 2 weeks since we've been together. And my goodness, what a change in 2 weeks. Between recent legislation that the Alberta government has introduced that harms the most vulnerable among us, and the results of the US elections, many of us have so many feelings that it's hard to sort them out. I want you to know from the bottom of my heart that everything you feel is welcome into this space. All of you are welcome into this space. I want you to know that in this space, you bring your fears, your longings, your trembling in your hands. In this place, please bring your grief, your exhaustion. Bring your soft heart, hoping still. In this place, all that you feel is welcome here. All that you are is welcome here. Whatever you are feeling, your feelings are welcome here. To honor the life and the legacy of Senator Murray Sinclair, we remember his enduring commitment to truth, reconciliation, and justice for Indigenous peoples. Here in Calgary, we acknowledge that our community sits on the traditional lands of Treaty 7 Nations and Métis, Region 3. We hold in our hearts Senator Sinclair's words that reconciliation is not an Aboriginal problem, it is a Canadian one. And we recommit ourselves to understanding and repairing our shared history. In his memory, may we continue to walk the path of reconciliation with humility, with respect, and an unwavering dedication to a just future for us all. We are trying an experiment for the next few weeks, and the children are going to be with us for the first part of the morning, and we were so thrilled. And children, we want you to know that your voice is welcome here, that you are welcome here. And so parents, don't worry about the little noises that your children make. We will make it through. It's up to us to make it through because we really want you as families to know that you have a place in our community. Some of you are hoping to find community. Others are seeking your spiritual and personal truths. Others are seeking to question. There are others who are coming here to be nurtured, to explore new ideas, and to find comfort. We come from different places, different religions, backgrounds, theologies, identities, and cultures. For a sense of the diverse range of offerings we have, take a moment and look through the insert in your order of service. There's some groups that you can be a part of, that you can participate in the life of the congregation. So please, in this community, we hope that you will find community, connection, comfort, challenge, and most of all, love here. We hope you will find ways to provide outreach to others in our congregation, in our local community, and in our world community.
Good morning. My name is Kathy Welburn, she and her. I want to welcome you to the White Poppy service today. Today we commemorate the White Poppy movement, a symbol that calls us to remember all who have suffered and lost their lives in war. In Canada and around the world, the White Poppy asks us to reflect on the human cost of conflict, not only on the soldiers, but on civilians, families, communities, and all who long for a peaceful world. Thich Nhat Hanh, a great peace activist for his country during the turmoil in Vietnam in the 60s, spent his whole life working for peace. Without deep listening, he said, and gentle, loving speech, it is very difficult to move towards peace. Peace will only become a reality when world leaders come to negotiations with the ability to hear the suffering at the root of all conflicts.
Our opening hymn this morning is in the gray hardback hymnal in your seat pocket in front of you. The lyrics will also be projected on the screen. It is hymn number 131, Love Will Guide Us. I invite you to stand in body and or spirit and join your voices with ours. Love will guide us, peace has dried us, hope inside us, will lead the way on the road from greed to giving. Love will guide us through the hard night. If you cannot sing like angels, if you cannot speak before thousands, you can give from deep within you. You can change the world with your love. Love will guide us, peace has taught us, hope inside us will lead the way on the road from greed to giving. Love will guide us through the hard night. Thank you.
It is so good the days that we have the choir here. I just want to say, woo, choir! And I have a few quick announcements. Multi-faith calendars are now on sale. I know many of you are very excited. And as we talk about peace, what better way than to learn about multiculturalism and learn about other faiths than buying our multi-faith calendar? All the funds, they're $20. They go right to our youth fund to support youth activities. And they make a great Christmas present. So all of that rolled into one. And just look for Paula. She's in Wickenden hanging out and taking orders. So it'll be awesome. And next, as Reverend Samaya was saying, we're now starting having the kids up here. And I want to thank my staff for awkwardly sitting on the stage. That's Fable and Rain. And so any kids who would like to come up and sit up there while I read the story, you're welcome to, or you're welcome to stay with your parents. And then we also have the drawing table back there. But thanks, troopers, for trying it out first. I appreciate it. I did have one person say, it's great to see the kids, but they look a little old. They're still young. They're still young. All right, I'm Sheila McMaster, Director of Religious Education, and my pronouns are she and her. And today, all about peace. And so I thought I would dress my best 60s hippie today in honor of all the hippies out there who worked for peace. It was a very important movement, so, you know, peace. If you were a hippie in the 60s, let's see those peace signs. Oh yeah. I knew this is where y'all went.
Makes sense.
I used to have this, I'll admit to this, I used to have a bit of ageism. I'll think, oh, older people are so close-minded, this and that. And then I realized, oh, this is where the hippies went. It's all open from here. So if you're younger and you're like, oh, they're not going to understand me, yes, they will. Start a conversation. You'll find it very interesting. I know I did. And so as I'm thinking about peace, there are hopes for the world and hopes for where we live and hopes for our family. And as I thought about peace, I thought peace really begins with ourselves. And so the story I've brought to all of you today is I Am Peace by Susan Verde. There are times when I worry about what might happen next and what has happened before. The thoughts in my head are like rushing water, and I feel like a boat with no anchor being carried away. I give myself a moment, and I take a breath. And then I tell myself, it's all right. I feel the ground beneath my feet, and I steady myself. And I start to notice the here and now, and my thoughts start to settle, and my mind begins to clear, and I am peace. And I can watch my worries gently pop and disappear. And I let things go, and I can say what I feel inside out loud, and I know myself. I can share kindness with others. I can make a difference. I can hug a tree and thank it for its beauty and its strength. I can connect to nature. I can watch the clouds make shapes against the sky, and I know wonder. I can taste and smell and touch and hear and see all what is around me, and I use my senses, and I feel my breath to fill my whole body, and I tune into me. Now the water is still. I have found my anchor, and everything is all right. I don't need to worry about before or after. I am in this moment, and I am peace. And now I share my peace with others and hope that it is carried away to those who need it. And I dream that we are peace. The end. And today, as we breathe into peace, this week's challenge is to take those few moments this week. Try every day to just find that peace within yourselves. And to help you, I have a quick anchor breath exercise. Is everybody ready?
Yep.
Yes. All right. So I want you to place your hand where you feel the most breath in your body. It can be on your belly or on your chest or right in front of your nose. And breathe in. And keep your attention on your anchor spot. Oh, and release. And as you breathe out, keep your attention on your anchor spot. Breathe in. Breathe out. And we'll do one more time. Breathe in. And on your anchor spot, breathe out. And if you notice that you become distracted by sounds or thoughts, just gently bring yourself back to your anchor and out. So this week you can try that for about a minute. That's not too long. That's not even a commercial. So you can try that this week to find that peace within yourselves. And if you love that, Francis is hosting our Remembrance of Our Greatness dance and movement right in this room at noon. So after you get your coffee and conversation, come on back here and we'll be dancing and movement with Francis. And that's another great way to get that peace and balance within yourself. And now, as the kids go downstairs, they'll be exploring what peace means to them. So we're going to be lowering the lights and doing some peaceful activities. And to end, Gandhi says, if we're to create peace in our world, we must begin with our children. And now please join me as we take those children downstairs. So I'm getting some hand signals here. Come on up. Oh, calendars. Yeah, I announced them earlier. That's okay. You know what? I really appreciate Kathy, because I said to her, how am I going to get the calendar announcement in? And they said, just do it. And then Kathy is my reminder, because I totally have ADHD and forget everything. So you know what? I love you, Kathy, and I appreciate that. Go buy some calendars. Good idea.
Circles of love, dance all around you. Circles of love, peace and joy. Circles of love, dance all around you. Circles of love, peace and joy. Circles of love, dance all around you. Circles of love, peace and joy.
Thank you. As we gather in community, we remember that it extends beyond these walls, reaching into our city and in the lives of our neighbors. This month, our offering supports our shared work with the Calgary Alliance for the Common Good, a coalition that's committed to social justice, equity, and the well-being of all Calgarians. Through this partnership, we work to uplift voices that need to be heard, address the needs of the vulnerable, and bring about meaningful, positive change in the community. So by giving today, we renew our commitment to justice and compassion and honor our call to build a better world for all. If this is where you would like your donation to be directed, please do so in the message line of your e-transfer or on your check. May our generosity strengthen our community and contribute to a more just and caring Calgary. So I'm going to present a poem now, and I'm sure when you think of Remembrance Day, you think of In Flanders Fields. Such a wonderful poem, and we all grew up reciting that while we put on our red poppy. And it's there to help remind us of all those soldiers fallen and the veterans. World War I changed poetry. First of all, that in Flanders Fields was also used to recruit men for war. Some of the men that actually survived the First World War became the new war poets. And they wanted to tell it differently. Wilfred Owen was one of the well-known ones. There's many more. Strange meeting. It seemed that out of the battle I escaped down some profound, dull tunnel, long since scooped through granites of some titanic war, where encumbered sleepers groaned, too fast in thought or death to be bestirred. Then as I probed them, one sprang up and stared. "Strange friend," I said, "here is no cause to mourn." "None," said the other, "save the undone years, the hopelessness. Whatever hope is yours was my life also. I went hunting wild after the wildest beauty in the world. And of my weeping something had been left, which must die now. I mean, the truth untold, the pity of war, the pity war distilled. Now men will go content with what we spoiled, or discontent, boil bloody and be spilled. None will break ranks, though nations trek from progress. Courage was mine, and I had mystery. Wisdom was mine, and I had mastery. Then when much blood had clogged chariot wheels, I would have poured my spirit without stint, but not through wounds, not on the cess of war. Foreheads of men have bled where no wounds were. I am the enemy you killed, my friend. I knew you in the dark, for so you frowned. Yesterday through me, as you jabbed and killed, I parried, but my hands were loath and cold. Let us sleep now. It was during this time that the Women's Cooperative Guild in Britain started to protest and tried to gather the rights of those to be conscientious objectors. And they were able to get that status. Thousands became objectors to war. The first White Poppy campaign was launched in the UK in the 30s, the Cooperative Women's Guild, an organization of mothers, sisters, widows, and sweethearts of men killed during the First World War. They opposed the prospect of another war, led a campaign against the arms trade, and adopted a white poppy as the symbol honoring all victims of war and rejecting commemorations that vindicate the use of military force. Then they became another British organization, the Peace Pledge Union, also started producing the white poppies, which has continued ever since. In Canada, they're produced in Britain still and brought over here, or many times we've been very lucky to have Mariana Louise crochet many beautiful white poppies here as well. It's very active in Nova Scotia, Montreal, Toronto, and Vancouver, where I have, especially Toronto and Vancouver, where I met Janice Alton, the head of the Voice of Women. You may know her from her peace activism. I was very inspired by her, and I would hope to start something in Calgary. Quebec also is very, very active with the Collectif Échec à la Guerre. Women's guilds and civilians realized that civilians now make up 90% of the victims of war, including assaults on women, children, and taking away of boys for making child soldiers, and as well as climate disasters. So the British Peace Pledge Union began to hand out these poppies together with the red poppy. It is not opposed in any way. We will always continue to remember those who have fallen, those soldiers who have given everything. And I have family members definitely that were involved. It is an addition for us to realize that as more victims are now civilians. The motto here is that the war is a terrible method and should never again be used to settle disputes. Now, wreaths are made in the names of the countries where so many civilians are losing their lives. And the white poppies are decorated around with the red poppies, but mostly the white. On the wreath, they're draped with a banner, "Let peace be their memorial." And often these services are done in Unitarian churches. They're laid in a peace park. If we were to do that, we have a peace park just beyond the Peace Bridge, which you may not be aware of. 2024, the Union High Commission on Refugees has recognized many countries where this is happening, including Sudan, Ukraine, Myanmar, Israel, Palestine, Ethiopia, many countries where so many victims are civilians. So why wear a white poppy? Since the Cooperative Women's Guild in Britain first stood up and worked for the remembrance of all victims, and the Peace Pledge Union began the white poppy to support peace education in the schools as well. That's a very big part of what's happening both in Britain and in Vancouver and Toronto. I was involved in Vancouver where they want to encourage peace education, the great peace heroes. I've only mentioned a few. I'm sure you could come up with 10. I would like to think so. Why isn't this being taught? Wearing the peace poppy then means not just making a pledge to remember all these victims, but to reject war and to advocate for peace. There's more information at peacepoppies.ca, by the way. And now we'll hear from the words of a very ancient war poet from the 8th century China, read by Luca, the poet Du Fu.
Wait a minute until they get in place, and then we won't distract you.
My name is Luca, and my pronouns are he, his. Du Fu was a poet during the Tang Dynasty, considered one of the great Chinese poets and historians of all time. Moonlit night. Warning drums have ended all travel. A lone goose cries across autumn borderlands. This bright moon, brighter than over my old village, over my scattered brothers and sisters, and no home now to ask, are they alive or dead? Letters will never arrive. War comes and goes, comes again, like this, and again, and again.
I hadn't heard that version of Dona Nobis Pacem before, and that was just exquisite. Thank you so much. One of the principles that we, as a member congregation of the Canadian Unitarian Council, covenant to affirm and promote is the goal of a world community with peace, liberty, and justice for all. This is an aspiration, one that we hold because the times we are living in today challenge the very concept of peace, liberty, and justice for all. I can hear the drums of war beating around the world, and those clamoring for more power, working hard to numb us all into submission. There are also those in power who seek to divide us, creating an atmosphere of fear and distrust, a fear of the other. Now, some people will ask me if I'm a humanist, because I often lift up the very fact, with great gratitude, of the contributions that the humanist movement have made to Unitarianism and Unitarian Universalism. I'm not, by the way, and we have 6 sources, and each one of them are beautiful. And the humanist movement is the one that brings us to the understanding that it is up to us and our own 2 hands to bring this goal to life. It's up to us to create the kind of heaven here on earth that we aspire to. And one thing I have learned in life is that we cannot always control what happens in the world or in our own lives. What we can do is choose our response. Viktor Frankl, in Man's Search for Meaning, wrote that the one thing that no one can ever take away from us is the ability to choose our response. And I would also venture to guess that in choosing our response, there's another choice available for us. Who do we wish to be in these times? These are both concepts that you've heard me talk about over and over again, and I think they're very important ones, particularly at this juncture of where we are. What is the legacy and the story that we want told of Calgary Unitarians in these times? You see, a collective dedication to peace encourages respectful dialogue and counters divisive rhetoric. I want Calgary Unitarians to become a voice of peace and unity in this city. Through this ritual that we're about to embark on of pledging peace, we acknowledge that we have a role in doing that. It's a powerful and unifying act in the face of forces that seek to divide us. The ritual that we're about to embark on, I hope, sends a message that we are intent on doing our part to create peace. And I'm not talking about the namby-pamby kind of peace, where you just turn the other cheek and let people say what they need to say. I'm not talking about that kind of peace. Valerie Kaur often talks about that liberating force of love, and I'm talking about that liberating force of peace that does not come easily. In a few moments, we're going to enter a time of silence. And each of you will have an opportunity to write a pledge of peace on that white poppy that you were given in your order of service. Now, if you don't happen to have one, raise your hand and our friendly ushers will make sure that you have one. And also, if you need a writing implement, we have some of those as well. So just raise your hand and our ushers will get you some of those. There's going to be some samples that are up here to stir your thought. You don't have to choose any one of these. You can write whatever you want for your pledge. It is a personal commitment to promote peace, understanding, and compassion in your interactions, even across political or personal differences. We're going to gather up these white poppies and form a wreath out of them. And either we'll put them in the Peace Park, we haven't decided yet, or we'll create a wreath that we can keep here to visually remind this community of our pledges to peace. But you get something to take home with you. We'll enter a period of about 2 minutes of silence, so you can write, I'm giving you lots of lead time. You can write your pledge of peace. When you're done, come up, and there's a basket right here. Sorry for the camera. Place your poppy in this basket. And in this basket, you can choose a paper pin of a white poppy or a beautifully crocheted one that Mariana Louise has made. And I want to thank whoever brought the extra poppies today. These ones will be for you. The extra poppies will be for your friends and your family and the people that you associate with. You can give them a white poppy. So thank you for whoever brought those. So, are we clear on what I'm asking you to do in this small ritual? All right, let's take a moment and enter that time of silence. Spirit of life and love, we gather in gratitude for the courage and the commitment in these peace pledges before us. Each promise represents the hope and intention of a heart willing to work for a world of compassion, justice, and peace. May these pledges be nourished by our shared faith and values, growing into acts of kindness, growing and swelling out from this congregation into the city of Calgary, so that we might be known as the peacekeepers. May we be vessels of patience and respect, meeting one another's differences with curiosity rather than judgment, and choosing again and again and again the path of peace. As we wear these symbols of peace, may they remind us daily of our promise to nurture it in our communities, in our conversations, in our relationships, and within our own hearts. In the spirit of love and unity, may it ever be so. Amen. Namaste. Blessed be.
Our closing song this morning can be found in the paperback hymnals in your seat pockets. It is song 1008, When Our Heart is in a Holy Place. I invite you now to rise in body and or spirit. Thank you.
When our heart is in a holy place, when our heart
is in a holy place. We are blessed with love and amazing grace. When our heart is in a holy place. When we trust the wisdom in each of us, every color, every creed and kind. When we see our faces in each other's eyes, then our heart is in a holy place. When our heart is in a holy place. When our heart is in a holy place. We are blessed with love and amazing grace. When our heart is in a holy place. When we tell a story from deep inside, and we listen with a loving mind, and we hear our voices in each other's words, then our heart is in a holy place. When our heart is in a holy place. When our heart is in a holy place. We are blessed with love and amazing grace. When our heart is in a holy place. When we share the silence of sacred space, and the God of our hearts is within, and we feel the power of each other's faith, then our heart is in a holy place. When our heart is in a holy place. When our heart is in a holy place. We are blessed with love and amazing grace. When our heart is in a holy place. When our heart is in a holy place.
Let us depart this place with a holy heart. Let us carry with us the commitment to justice, compassion, and courage in these challenging times. In the wake of recent elections, amidst policies that deny the dignity and rights of trans individuals here in Alberta, may we be voices of love and fierce advocates of truth. May we remember that true freedom and democracy rest on our dedication to the inherent worth and dignity of each person. Go forth with hope, ready to light the way towards a more just and inclusive and peaceful world. Blessed be and amen. Kathy?
Today, we honor the poppy, the peace poppy, a symbol of remembrance for all lives touched by war, and a call for a world without violence. As we go forth, may we carry with us a dedication to peace and understanding, to resolve and seek justice and compassion, and space for every story. As that great peace activist, you may not think of him as such, John Lennon said, sort of cheekily, if we all wanted peace as much as we wanted a new color TV, we would have it now. So may the light of peace guide our steps as we become instruments of healing and hope in the world. We invite you to join us tomorrow at 10:30 for the Remembrance Day service. Whether you're joining us in person or online, we look forward to coming together in our community. If you're with us in person, please stay now after the service for coffee and conversation in Wickenden. Shepherd's Originals.
They are not here today.
They are not here. I'm sorry, you will have to chat amongst yourselves. Peace be unto you. For those attending online, we've placed a link in the chat so you can connect with others virtually. Let's make space now for reflection, connection, and community.
And we'll wave to those online.
Bye, Zoomers.
Hey, Zoom folks.